one quick question to both of you really. In the possibility of administration change in the United States, which will happen 2 years down the line, how would the Republican side of the US political establishment, if it comes to power, view what is being now done with India? How would they look at a Narendra Modi, who will still be the Prime Minister of India with a clear-cut roadmap ahead of him?
No, if you look only at the nuclear Indo-US civil nuclear deal, the Indo-US civil nuclear process was actually started by Vajpayee government. The first two drafts were prepared by the Vajpayee government in 2003-2004, and then and it was with the Republican government that our first engagement on nuclear deal also started. But then there was a change of regime in the US, there was a change of regime in India, and then for the first 5 years the UPA one could not go ahead with it because they were heavily dependent on the support of the communists, the left. So the moment they were able to jettison the left, they went ahead with it. So in the renewed scenario, these two sovereign governments, whatever they decide between them today,
there's no risk down the road.
That will stand good for the next generation of leadership.
There's no risk down the road.
Countries. Yeah.
You know, we might not like it, but the point is that within the American administration, the framework of the thinking, India probably does not figure very high on the priority list. I'll just give you an example. The State of the Union address is supposed to be the most important occasion for the president.
But Nilanjan, we discussed that maybe Obama did that deliberately to not build up expectations.
No, I think coming back to your question, the reason why I was talking about the State of the Union, not a comment on the Obama administration or his decision, but probably Republicans, if they come to power, they would not be having a preconceived idea about India, but actually to go about tackling issues as and when they come, one by one.
Right.
Instead of having a framework, to go with, be guided by that framework. Say, for example, there is nothing like the Indo-Soviet Friendship Treaty, which is there between India and US. So there is no framework. What is agreed on the joint statement in 2015, is a renewal of an agreement made several years ago.
So it's actually one more milestone in a process that started almost 12 years back. That was the point you were alluding to.
I guess the Republicans would possibly again look at the entire relationship brick by brick. That is the way I see it unfolding if there is a regime change.
As long as no one wants to bring that wall down and Pakistan is no longer a factor.
I don't think so, because economic ties have become so deep that neither India nor the US can actually threaten or damage the world.
And it's an incident
of progress during Republican regime in the US.
And on a neighborhood basis, Nilanjan, just look at the stark contrast. We are talking about energy, a statement by Modi and Obama, and at the same time, Pakistan has virtually been in darkness. I mean, just as a point in terms of the near neighborhood. Ashok, you wanted to make a quick point.
If you look at the US history for the last 30-40 years, so far the foreign policy is concerned, there are not too much difference between Democrats and Republicans. Democrats and Republicans differ on the domestic issues, but you will not see too much difference between the foreign policy.
Okay, but would you agree on the point that as far as American foreign policy interests are concerned, they have always believed in furthering business as an objective. Unfortunately for our foreign policy setup guided by this entrenched bureaucracy, the MEA, they have never taken into account the advancement of India's trade interests as one of their objectives. It's more been to do with strategic non-alignment or whatever shifts the administration of the moment may have forced upon them.
There is a very popular American adage, promise me anything but give me money. So that is not the adage in India.
And in India, we don't want to touch that money. It is dirty.
We don't talk in terms of, no, it's not that it's dirty. We have a dedicated goddess for money. So Mrs. Laha will know better. But the idea is, see, we have not developed that kind of mechanism.
Okay.
So I take your point. I take your point. I think there should be a greater coordination between MEA and Ministry of Commerce in all future visits.
Okay, closer coordination. We've been trying to connect with Ravi Kulkarni, some problems with the phone. So So let me now get you to comment, Nilanjan Mukhopadhyay, on one of the remarks by the Prime Minister. And every time the Prime Minister speaks, there is something that you want to discuss further apart from. So he said, as Lord Buddha said, noble friends and companions are the whole of the holy life. What is the context in which the Prime Minister
I think the
has
context
used this?
is what, Shaurya was probably taking a slight objection to what I said, that I am getting a bit tired of all this chemistry business. It actually shows that, yes, there was a certain great amount of foundation of the chemistry, which is actually very important. But the point is that we cannot get stuck with chemistry. We have to go much beyond noble friends and intentions. We have to actually look at what these noble friends and intentions help us build. Whether
so the Prime Minister describes Barack Obama, who
Barack, is a great. The point which Tarun made, I think it's very valid. It had also hit me very sharply in the ear. They call him Barack. We do not talk in the American way of speaking. So an Indian Prime Minister addressing an American President, the way Americans address each other.
So what is the significance, can I say today, that Narendra Modi has described Barack Obama as his noble friend and companion?
I think very important. But the point is that we now have to look beyond what has been stated today. What has been built
No, but
today,
for the moment, how would you describe this moment?
I think very significant. I think it's a great diplomatic victory, when the two of them went and, walked into the lawns of Hyderabad. I was reminded, this is quite like, to give an example, quite like the Camp David retreats. Which
and the lotus ponds are on there.
It's very symbolic. This
lotus pond is symbolic as far as the BJP is.
Okay, and there was, of course, this report that the American Secret Service, which calls its president in terms of its parlance POTUS, and they have said lotus for the Prime Minister. Okay, we are in the final minutes of closing this ongoing special coverage of the visit. Quick comments really from the entire panel. There is an extensive business agenda that has been lined up for tomorrow. Starting with you, what kind of messaging would you want to see from that? There won't be a summit or a bilateral statement of this sorts, but from the business point of view, remember President Obama spoke about the large business delegation and the congressmen who are accompanying him. What is the messaging that you are expecting?
I am expecting that Obama will tell people that India is a place to do the business. It's a business friendly, compared to the perception, and go and do the business in India. That's the message I expect that they are going to give it to the US business community and the investors. Go and invest money in India, go and spend the money there. India is becoming business friendly.
Nilanjan.
Well, normally when business delegations, accompany presidents or prime minister to other countries, they're basically big jamborees, essentially an occasion to meet each other, shake hands, sign a few MOUs, quite like the business summits. Business summits have a long history of not much really actually becoming projects which are implemented. Similar has also been the case of these business delegations. I hope that the message which is sent by both the Prime Minister Modi and President Obama to the business delegates is that please be a bit more serious. This is not just a party.
Okay, Sheshadri Chari, they will tell them read the text of our joint statement and start doing something, right?
There. This joint statement itself is the result of what is happening in the world today. There is a total, I won't call it a recession, but a near recession in the European Union. China is also not very comfortable, and in any case, as far as the capital input industries are concerned, it's a saturation point. In the whole of Asia and in the whole of the world, India is the only natural investment destination today. India has the great advantage of being a center of production and center of consumption both at the same time. So the kind of market that we have, the kind of necessity that we have as far as the capital input is concerned and as far as technology transfer is concerned, we have a huge amount of capacity to absorb. So this, any country which knows this and which is able to read this has to rush here. So that is what the US is doing now. But in this, what we should see is how we can benefit, how Indian industry can benefit, and how Indian consumer can benefit